I know it's all you've got to just be strong. And it's a fight just to keep it together.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another episode of It's a Family Affair, the podcast for families by families. My name is Karen, and I'm a member of the Mothers Union of St. George's Anglican Church in the Cayman Islands. With me is my fellow Mothers Union member, Debrica, who is also a member of the St. George's Anglican Church Care Ministry team. And during the month of May, the Mothers Union will be sharing some short videos, and I mean really short, with information on mental health that we hope will be useful to you or families. The theme this month, which is Child Month, is Act Now, Stand Against Child Abuse and Exploitation. And we know that studies have shown that child abuse in all its forms and other adverse childhood experiences can significantly affect the mental health and well-being of our children. So today we will start with something that is relatively simple, and that is the difference between mental health and mental illness. It is our hope that these short videos will assist you in identifying and starting discussions within your own families on mental health and mental illness. So, because I will run my mouth, without further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to Debrica, who will be telling us the difference between mental health and mental illness. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. So, Sister Karen, mental health and mental illness has been mistakenly used interchangeably. And while they are related, they are definitely not the same thing. So mental health, it includes our emotional or psychological and our social well-being. And it refers to, according to the World Health Organization, it refers to our ability to cope with the normal stresses of life, our ability to work productively, and our ability to make a contribution to our community. So notice it says the normal stresses of life, because we experience different situations during our life. We don't live a static life. Things are constantly changing. We may experience loss, whether it be loss of a loved one, loss of a job. Some people experience fluctuations in their financial situation. All of these things affect our mental health, right? And our mental health is vital to our overall well-being, right? Because it helps us to lead fulfilling lives and to manage the various challenges that I just mentioned, in addition to other challenges, right? Our mental health affects our relationships, it affects our work performance, it affects our physical health.
So can you imagine if we are, as adults, are struggling with our mental health? Can you imagine our children preparing for exams, trying to fit in, performing?
And even our younger children who are still developing their ability to adequately communicate what they're feeling, right? So that's mental health. So you can have good mental health and you can have bad mental health depending on what's happening, but it is not the same as a mental illness. Now, mental illness refers to health conditions, and it's a health condition because sometimes when people think mental, they don't realize that it can actually be a biological issue, right? So it's a health condition that can affect our mood, it affects our thinking, it affects our behavior, and it can significantly impair our ability to cope in our daily lives. Now, it can vary in severity, right? So it can be mild and it can be intense. And there are some mental illnesses that are fairly common. We hear those words more often than others, such as depression and anxiety. But mental illness can also includes bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress, and even eating disorders. And these disorders, as I said, can significantly impair our ability to cope. But it's not all doom and gloom, because it doesn't mean that if you have a mental illness, you can't have a fulfilling and flourishing life. If you have a mental illness and you are receiving the proper care, whether that is through medication or counseling or therapy, you can still enjoy a flourishing life. You can still experience good mental health. On the other hand, if you have a mental illness and you're not receiving the care, then your everyday life will be significantly affected. So that's the main difference between mental health and mental illness. They are related, but they are not the same thing.
Thanks very much for that explanation, Dabrika. Every day is a school day. So, how do we protect our children's mental health? And how do we identify when our children are approaching a mental health crisis? In our next episode, we will look at the different signs that your child is having a mental health episode and provide ways on how to help our children when they're facing a mental health crisis. In the meantime, if you or someone you know is having a mental health crisis, please call 911 if you are in the Cayman Islands or 119 if you are in Jamaica. For confidential counseling services, please feel free to contact the Care Ministry of St. George's Anglican Church at 67 Courts Road on the following dates and times. On Mondays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon and 5 to 7 p.m., Wednesdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Fridays 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and Saturdays 10 a.m. to 12 noon. If you wish to schedule a time outside of these hours, please feel free to call us on 938-9277 to book an appointment. And always remember, neither you or your children are alone.
And you know you're stronger than you